Welcome back to the channel. All right, we're going to go over the best champions to rank up if they're unawakened. We do the monthly tier list. I've been doing that for years. And one of the biggest questions I get, or most common asked questions I get on a variety of my videos is, yeah, but like, let's say these champions aren't awakened. Do you have a tier list for that? Do you have? And I want to jump straight into this. And I'll just say, like, while myself and the Spreadsheet Wizards, the shirt, okay, are working on an emoji set that we think or hope will better answer that question, I'm not sure we're going to be able to figure that out on the tier list because there's so much information in there. It's like, I should just make a video on this because there are a ton of great champions to rank up. We're going to go over this class by class. We're going to start off in Mystic. And because I don't want this video to take 30 minutes, I'm going to just kind of quickly tell you what I think are like kind of the best that are 6-star locked. Then, of course, like the second tier options. By second tier, I mean second tier in my tier list. That's still an amazing tier. And then, of course, we'll talk a little bit more in depth about the first tier, okay? And if you're enjoying this content, if this is helpful to you, make sure you hit like, hit subscribe, share it out, because that's honestly one of the best ways I can know, like, hey, this is a video we should repeat every couple of months or not. So in the second tier, or the 6-star lock, the 6-star lock is Doom. You get Doom, rank him up, okay? Don't worry that he's not awakened. Just rank him. That goes for 5-star, 4-star, wherever you're at in your progression. Dr. Doom, if he gets awakened, even better, okay? But he is phenomenal even without it. In the second tier, and again, that second tier on my tier list, not like, hey, you know, second class or something like that. This is phenomenal. I would rank up Purgatory. I have my own 6-star Unawakened as well. This is actually on my free-to-play account, but still lets you know she's fantastic. White Tiger, I would awaken her unawakened completely, and she punches up exceptionally well. And I know players who actually feel that Rintrah is better unawakened. Now we're going to go over the first tier. I understand how few players have her, but there's a chance you did open some crystals for her. I know that I'm calling her the best Mystic champion in the game now because she's the most meta relevant. So there's a chance you have like a 6-star or even a 5-star. I see that because I know a lot of you are like, dude, no one's got her. Come on, think about it. A lot of people are gonna have 5 and 6 stars. She does not need the awakened ability. We covered that at length in my video. It is very helpful. She just gets better with it, okay? The next champion we will talk about is Kushala. I played my Kushala 7-star, rank 3, tier 1 war, Masters Alliance, SSX. I played her unawakened for an extremely long time, and she was phenomenal. I get it why people want her awakened, especially after awakening mine. You do not need it, okay? Moving on, we will go over to Werewolf by Night, a phenomenal, well-rounded generalist, okay? Think about even like his various immunities and the reduction to the poison. Of course, the massive power gain, literally none of that is locked in his signature ability. And again, these are like top tier champions, all right? The next one we'll move on to is America Chavez. She is phenomenal. Yes, the awakened ability really is helpful in hitting harder. However, she can control the power, right? The non-combat power rate, the personal power gain. I can't think of the specific term, but basically the power they get without you hitting them. She can control that right out of the box. She does not need that, okay? And the awakened ability, you will notice a difference in her damage, but without it, you are more than fine. You're a golden. She is fantastic. The next one we'll talk about again is, where is he? Is Juggernaut. Similar scenario to actually Rintrah. I know players who prefer him unawakened because with Mystic Dispersion, this Nullify can actually shoot you all the way up to an SP3. It's rare when that happens, but it could. I like him awakened for questing things like that, but dude, go in, beat the crap out of stuff, get your SP2 with all those Furies, and do massive, massive damage. He does not need it at all. And then the last one we will quickly talk about as far as the top tier options is going to be Shathra. It's nice, like you can see the regeneration and all that stuff. So I'm not going to tell you that like it's not nice. It is, but again, she does not need this. The reason you see her at SIG 200 sometimes on YouTube or things like that is she's a phenomenal prestige champion. She has extremely high prestige, okay? So it's not like this does nothing. You can see the extra vulnerabilities and things like that, but she is fantastic right out of the box, unawakened. Do not worry about it. In the Cosmic class, as far as the 6-star lock champions, Hercules, Hulkling, I wouldn't necessarily say CGR because part of what is so powerful is that like Fate Seal, I think it's called, or the damnation off his special off his signature ability. If you love CGR though, you're probably going to be more than fine. He's willing, he's so powerful you could be okay. There's just a big party utility there. So I would prioritize Hercules and Hulkling. Hercules, of course, and Immortality and all that. I'm not gonna say it's not great, but these champions are so powerful. I would rank them up. You got that 6-star, rank them up. And then as far as like the kind of the second tier, I'm calling them, I think Dark Phoenix, you're fine. Then we go on to Venom. Make sure you have the Venom Relic. That's really a big thing. And Superior Iron Man, Superior Iron Man. Phoenix is also great. Tested her Unawakened. And then Old Man Odin, a phenomenal option. They're a little bit farther down for me, but they are fantastic, fantastic champions. And they have some really great utility that's often asked for in the game. So they've been specifically called out for that reason. Now we will look at like the top tier options. They're not quite as many as there are in Mystic, but there are some great options. The first one we will start off with is actually Deathless Thanos. Where is he? I do find him significantly easier to play, particularly in long form with his Awakened ability and Sig 200. As someone who went through the Necropolis challenge with him Unawakened, I really felt it. I really did. That being said, there's so much utility, there's so much damage in this champion that he is more than worthy of ranking up. Unawakened, this goes for the 6-star and the 7-star. The 7-star, you're going to use him in the Necropolis challenge to get him awakened, so you're going to want him ranked up. Go ahead and do it. Don't worry about it. He's very, very good, very, very helpful. I did find Deathless She-Hulk maybe even more helpful there, but again, rank him up. You're going to go get him awakened anyway, and he's a phenomenal champion. And that goes for the 6-star as well too. We'll then move on. No kind of like surprise, right? That it's these really amazing, the champions I call bonkers, the champions I call OP. My favorite champions, I love playing them, is also Serpent. Does Serpent benefit from the Awakened ability? Absolutely, but you're still going to get a ton of damage. You're still going to get a lot of his utility with that True Focus buff, right? We've shown that off down here. It's somewhere down there. It's not too important. It's there. We know it. And then again, like all these champions, yes, they benefit from their Awakened ability, but they're so good without it that I would highly recommend that if you're looking for a champion to awaken, all you say you're like running low or you're something's about to expire, you got Serpent, you got Thanos, rank them up. And then here's the other one. Now, I do like Vox more with the Awakened ability, and it's actually for yeah, okay, I wanted to read it because it's worded a little interestingly. This pause on the second bullet point, I really like that. It's helped me out, especially if you're trying to play Vox at their absolute apex, where you're alternating the specials and trying to get to the special too. But if you're playing Vox the way I recommend playing him in the vast majority of circumstances, play them safe, play them secure. You don't need to reach those massive highs unless you absolutely have to. This pause can be really, really helpful. And then, of course, contact with the blade scythe increases the damage of personal. More damage is better. But without this, you still have a phenomenal, phenomenal champion. Play Vox a little bit more securely, knowing you don't have the pause, and you're going to be A-okay. And yes, while I do think Thanos and Serpent are more broadly, more just dominant OP than Vox, Vox is very much a top-tier champion. RPG, often asked for in this game, all resides in Vox. Let's move on to tech. Okay, another I mean, every single class has extremely powerful options for this. The 6-star lock, I would say Nimrod if you really need him. Like the Awakened ability does help out tremendously. It's a percentile thing, and then there's even a single bullet point there. I think it's for the mutants, which is often where you're wanting him. So you're going to notice a big power increase in Nimrod with them Awakened and high sig, but still very good. Ghost, you know, I think a lot of what's great about Ghost is that massive power she gets just by standing there and hits. So if you really want to wake Ghost up, go for it. You know, you're just desperately, you got a lot of stuff expiring, you got a 6-star Ghost, go for it, right? She's 6-star locked and so powerful, you'll probably awaken her at some point, so I would go for that. And then as far as like second tier, and again, I don't like the term second tier, but hey, I'm the one who came up with the term, so I should take it up with myself. Definitely a Mega Sentinel. I think Zola, especially for Battlegrounds defense, right? And PvE content is PvP, where the lack of the unblockable could come to get you with the standard Grand Mastery. Hulkbuster does not need it at all. I would consider Bastion. I really, in my testing, really liked Bastion. Awakened, I think it was a nice damage increase. I thought it was very helpful, but I've taken my own 7-star Bastion to rank 3 Unawakened. So, you know, I mean it. And then Red Skull, it's helpful to Red Skull, again, with the, I think it's like the every 10 hits, you get an extra armor up. I'm not saying it's not helpful, but again, do not need it. Very, very powerful champion. Without it. Now let's talk about our top tier options. I'm going to start off with Jack-O-Lantern and continue Stocks Rise. Hopefully you've seen my Stocks Rise video on Jack-O-Lantern. You can see this is really helpful. The passive regeneration, when there's like an energy damaging passive, This is really unique. This is obviously tailored towards Onslaught. It does come up other places in the game, but what I want to point out is this is a very small amount of health. Like, I found it was not helpful to me against Jean Grey, because her is significantly more potent in damage than Onslaught's is. And then, of course, the Bulwark is helpful, don't get me wrong, but so much of what makes Jack so insanely powerful and meta-relevant and damage resides just in his kit. You do not need him awakened. The next one we will talk about, I want to make sure I don't miss anyone, is actually going to be Prowler. Now, I've done a lot of videos on Prowler. I've done the video showing Prowler at Sig 200, and if you can look at this graph, you can see how intense this gets, and it gets intense as far as how much it goes up at Sig 180. So Prowler is a champion that I've often recommended to people, play him unawakened. If you're liking what you're getting, if you're liking the utility, right? Like the non-contacts and the various immunities to bleed, incinerate, you're liking that, then go ahead and awaken him, take him to Sig 200. You're gonna see in my top 10 tech, I have him as one of the best tech champions in the game, and I fully believe that, but I don't think he's necessary. So this one is the reason why I'm taking a little bit extra time. This is a massive grain of salt. Is make sure you've played him, make sure you've liked him, rank him up. His damage will be worse without the awakened ability. It just is. There's literally no way around that. That's not like an opinion, that's a fact when you look at the signature ability. But then if you didn't have other good options and you've got a Prowler and you get him awakened, you are eating good, because you've already really enjoyed him. You've got him awakened. The damage is going to get better. And like I said, at a high Sig, he is truly one of the best champions in the game. He will show up in my top 30 overall in game. Myself and the Illuminati have him in the top tier in tech. And when I do the top 10 techs, you better bet he's going to be towards the top. Just make sure you play him unawakened. This one, the awakened ability does make a large power difference. It's just all his utility already resides in his kit. So it's kind of the opposite of Jack there in a way, right? So that's why I want to call this out specifically. Next, we will move on to a champion that I think just unfairly gets a lot of crap in this community, and I don't know why. Is Shuri. The awakened ability, nice to be able to block unblockable attacks. That's amazing. Notice it's not class limited, right? It's not against like only mutant champions or anything like that. The things she does are just so class universal. It's absolutely incredible. Obviously, she's better with this. Just Sig 1 is great. But unawakened, she's got literally all the rest. And if you're like, what is all the rest? Read through this kit. Her ability actually cannot be altered. Again, not like by a certain class or in certain, just cannot. Her specials can't be dexed. I could go on and on about what a phenomenal champion she is. She's just a little bit slower than some of the other champions in Battlegrounds. That's literally it. She's a fantastic, fantastic champion. The next one we'll talk about is, again, these are the best tech champions in the game, is Ironheart. Now, this is really nice, and it does help her damage, okay? You can see in the third bullet point, repulsor debuffs gain increased potency. When she has armor up, she gets the Bulwark passive, which again is nice. It's like Jack, it's nice. I'm not saying it's not. And then this heal, this is similar to the various Iron Man-esque characters, but in general, is that why you're playing her? Absolutely not. She's one of the best tech champions in the game. If she is not awakened, I still think go for it. Oh, didn't mean to go that far. This is Khonshu's Ankh. I've purposely left it so you can see the name. This site is back up and running and is one of my favorite resources for MCoC knowledge here. So I wanted to give a quick shout out to that. And the last one we will mention is none other than future Ant-Man. Now, if you're using him for war, you can see that incoming bleed and incinerate effects suffer a large duration decrease. I think he really does want this. If you want him to be a dual threat, like you really want to enhance that dual threat nature in Battlegrounds, again, you really want this. However, all of this power control, all of this massive damage resides just here in this kit. If you've got him and you want to rank him up, again, one of the best tech champions in the game, does not need his awakened ability in any way, shape, or form to do a lot of what you want him to do. It's just when he's awakened, it enhances the nodes that he can take with the bleeds and incinerate, and it enhances his defensive nature as a dual threat in Battlegrounds. Okay, moving on to Mutant, the 6-star lock champion that I would say don't worry about the awakened ability at all. It is Magneto. Rank him up, have fun. Again, second tier, but again, I think you understand how good they are. Deadpool Weapon X, or no, Deadpool X-Force, sorry. The signature ability in it really high, helpful with Nick Fury. Okay, there may be other champions in the future, we don't know, but all the rest of it, still there. Weapon X, I played mine Unawakened for a very long time. Some of my videos on him, a lot of videos with him Unawakened. And then Dust, it helps her with her defensive prowess quite a bit. Well, I don't know about quite a bit. That might be overstating it. But she's a phenomenal champion, one of my absolute favorites. Maybe even should have been in this first tier now that I look at it. So I think there's a real strong argument for that. Now, in the first tier, in fact, you know what? Based on this champion we're about to put in the first tier, Dust deserves to be here too, is Apocalypse. There's actually people who like make fun of Apocalypse for his Awakened ability. It gives him that heal, which again, saving some potions is really nice, but again, this isn't typically why you're ranking up a champion or using an Awakening gem or something like that. All the utility, all the damage, available as a 7-star and a 6-star. Make the Horseman, have fun, phenomenal champion, can be ranked up easily, no doubts, without the Awakened ability. The next one we'll move on to is Mr. Sinister. Now, when I knew what I was doing, I went out and got him early, awakened him, taken him to an extremely high sig. I do think it's very powerful. I've done videos on it. It is helpful to him. You can look at it, right? You can see like the increased attack, the increased combat power rate, makes him a better defender in battlegrounds, okay? Also, offensively, I'm not gonna say it's never come in and helped me out, like especially the increased attack, but here's the thing, in a single fight format, it's not reliable. You can't know that it's going to happen. And a lot of his defensive prowess, and honestly his offensive as well, is just locked into his kit. Because I enjoy playing Battlegrounds, I take it relatively seriously, and I love playing Mr. Sinister. I've awakened mine, take him to the high sig, but does he need it? Absolutely not, okay? Absolutely not. And then moving on to the number one big bad. I mean, this is truly one of the best champions in the whole game. Definitely gonna be showing up in top 10 mutants. All right, and then moving on to the last, in my opinion, the best. When you see my top 10s, you'll see me talk about him. Of course, Sinister will be on there as well too. Is none other than Onslaught. Yeah, you know, the block and block with special attacks from skill, really helpful. It's similar to like Shuri, but not quite as powerful, right? Because it's locked against a class. Getting the Daunted Potency up is of course helpful. That's part of his damage. And then Freeze non-damage debuff or personal non-damage, you pass it on the opponent. Onslaught special attacks gain block penetration. It can make him a little bit better of a defender. But otherwise, you've got all of this. All the things that just make him such a phenomenal, amazing, dominant champion are just completely in his kit. If you got him, rank him up, don't worry about the Awakened ability. Okay, I can see we're on pace to get well under 30 minutes, so I want to keep this up. In the skill class, 6-star locked. If you've got Kate or Kingpin, 6-star, 5-star, whatever, rank them up. They're going to help you clear content. Make sure it's the content that you're trying to do, right? Like, don't go rank up your 3-star if you're on the 6 stars. But you get my point. Kate, Kingpin, they would be two of the best champions in the game if they are available 7 stars, okay? Second tier. This is a long second tier. They really could be first tier, so don't worry about it. Again, rank these champions up. We've got Okoye. If you don't have her awakened and you really want that awakened ability, run with Shuri. It's a synergy. It's really helpful. Shang-Chi, Mole Man, Black Cat. It is helpful, though. Black Cat is helpful. Bullseye, Lumatrix, who I think a few months from now might be in that first tier. We'll see. And then, of course, Hit Monkey. Skill is an interesting class. We've only got 2 champions in the top tier, but again, don't let that stop you. We will quickly talk about them. Finding them is not as easy as I thought. I can't spell. They're in alphabetical order. It's going to be Chill. Now, I like Chill's awakened ability because I've gotten it, right? She's not someone that I would necessarily use an awakening gem on. She's not someone that I would necessarily throw a bunch of 6 stones into. And I've got a rank for Chill. The damaging back is actually super helpful, or the healing back of the physical damage. So like against, think about like a Tuma or something like that. You can use her SP1 with her grit. It can handle that quite a bit. It actually can turn like a net heal. And I have used this like in the Grandmaster's Gauntlet, the updated version, things like that, against, I think it was Killmonger. And then this other one, the replacement for her bleeds with the crit, it is nice. I'm not gonna like say it never used it, but ultimately you're using her where she can land her bleeds. It doesn't fully replace the damage of her bleed. So all of her utility, just like these other champions, just resides in her kit. Then actually Crossbones. Now, he's a unique one. This is similar to some of the other champions we talked about, where they are so powerful that I can say rank them up without their awakened ability. Is he less powerful, or are there less fights he can go in and just trounce without the awakened ability? Yes. Is he amazing already without it? Yes. And then if you rank him up and then you get him awakened one day from pulling him, you've already got him. You're good. And you've benefited from having him awakened. He's one of the best champions in the game. He's one of the best. He's definitely, well, I don't want to spoil my own skill tier list, but he's one of the best skill champions in the game as well. I can say, I think he's very good and worthy of ranking without being awakened. And then moving on to science, this is actually similar to Mystic, where they're just really interesting. When I went back and really reviewed them for this video and prepared for this video, how many of them are phenomenal without their awakened ability. The 6-star locked is Scorpion. Rank them up, have fun, do great things. In the quote-unquote second tier, which feels almost meaningless now that we've continued the whole video, Spider-Ham and She-Hulk Deathless. She-Hulk Deathless, once you've filled out Deathless Thanos with all the various Sig Stones that can come your way, start throwing them into She-Hulk. She's a great, great champion. And then, of course, like we said, Spider-Ham. So we'll move on to the top tier. We're going to start off with another than Red Guardian. And I want to be clear on this. For me, if you're desperate, you've got expiring resources, you've got 6-star Red Guardian, like go ahead and throw them in, okay? But this is really tailored to the 7 stars. This being recommending him, having him in the first tier as Unawakened. And that's because of the stat focus on the 7 stars that resides. You can go into crit. If you want to see what that looks like, I did a video on Red Guardian Unawakened as a 7-star, so you could see that. In an ideal world, you do want him awakened and you want to start escalating that Sig. I did in levels of 40 because I'm being like efficient with my Sig stones. You don't need to do that. And I have taken my 7-star rank 4 to a higher Sig because I do want all those crits. But again, the 7-star Unawakened was critting quite a bit for me. So keep that all in mind as you kind of go through this on your own. The next one we will talk about very quickly is Luke Cage. I do think Luke's awakened ability allows me to play more aggressively. I've shown this at length too on my channel, but all of the like power control, the concussions, all of those really nice damage, all just resides in Luke. You don't need him awakened for it. It's a nice awakened ability, but he's phenomenal without it. The next one we'll talk about is Human Torch. You don't need him awakened. It's the chance for this like pre-fight ability to come back. It's a pretty low chance, and I don't think he's a phenomenal like quester, meaning taking multiple fights within a quest. Typically battlegrounds, war, or you're using him for like a boss fight or a really, really tough fight in a quest or something like that. Doesn't need the awakened ability at all because you have access to his pre-fight ability without it. Then moving on, we will get to OG Hulk. The ability to go unstoppable on or with the heavy attack is not when he enters Gamma Rage. Sorry, really nice. Helps him as a defender. A lot of people learned how to fight him though, so it's not critical. It's not material to what he's doing. And then you gain the physical resistance and critical resistance while unstoppable. Really nice if you can use those in conjunction offensively, kind of create an open. But like again, very rarely is this happening. The stun lock, the massive damage, the immunity poison, all just resides in his kit. Fantastic, fantastic champion. Feels very, very powerful. The next one is going to be Count Nefaria. Now, you've seen me want to take him to high Sig. I actually am hoping to take him to Sig 200 in the not too distant future. And a lot of that's for like, well, it's for the signature ability, okay? It's obvious. And for Battlegrounds usage. At Sig 200, what he does to Mystic Dispersion when attacking Mystic champions is really, really helpful. The signature ability has helped me out significantly. But all of this stuff, all of it just resides in his kit. The immunities, the power control, the damage, all of that. You do not need him awakened. A phenomenal champion. I would rank him unawakened. The same now goes for Silk. Yes, the slow is really helpful against Rintra. Rintra is not as prevalent a defender these days, right? Where he's still there. You still can run into him. Don't get me wrong. But he's not as dominant and everywhere as he once was. The threats in the game have grown significantly. This is what we often talk about as far as the meta, RPG counters, and things like that. And the regeneration rate, again, really, really helpful. But so much of what she can do is, again, like all of these champions, resides in the kit. I would rank her unawakened and have very little hesitation. Again, like all of these champions, very, very helpful. But this doesn't come into play too much as far as like the size, right? That's helpful. It's more this first bullet point, and that can be really good, especially to get the Sig escalating. You can get into her damage significantly faster. It can be really helpful, particularly in Battlegrounds if you're playing her really, really well. But as far as the indestructible, unblockable, unstoppable, the passives, the buff immunity, the really nice SP3 loop. And remember, guys, you don't need to play her that way. You can do the SP1, SP2 loop as well with the physical vulnerabilities. Use the Haymaker. Phenomenal, phenomenal champion. Does not need to be awakened for any of that. And then last but not least is definitely Photon, a phenomenal champion. The top 10 science has been out for a while, so hopefully you've checked that. You heard my thoughts on them. I'll admit, I do really like, again, the immunity to neutralize. That's not only against Rintra, that's nodes and things like that too. But is that like why you're ranking her? No. And then a lot of the rest of this is actually for her defensive prowess. So defensive Photons, much better at a super high sick, but offensive use, the parry non-contact attacks and all of that just resides in her kit. She's good to go. Rank her up, benefit. The skill class and the mystic class had so many of their highest tier, highest ranked, most powerful champions here that I was able to confidently put on this list. That was really surprising to me. It was actually eye-opening to see it from that angle. But as you can see, there are multiple good options in every single class. And you let me know, was this helpful? Was going through it this way helpful to you? If so, it's a video I'm happy to do probably every 2 to 3 months as new champions go into the game and as the meta changes and we learn new things, we can update it. And then myself and the Wizards will continue to work on the tier list to make sure those emojis are helping get out the information we're trying to get out and also answer the questions you are asking. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.